Kia ora Tato, no maha hoki mai ki Tenei wahanga. Kia ora everybody, welcome back. And the series of Whakapapa, presented by myself. My name's David Tipoki, just in case you've forgotten. Before we start, we need to start at the beginning. So today I'm going to hand it over to my dad to do our opening. Karakia. Kia ora.
Whakamoe me te anau matou ki a koe hua moa hau mana ki Tenei a matou. No Rere ka inoi ki a koe hua ki a pina tia matou. Ke homai nge koe tō Wairua tapu ki roto i a matou. Ngā tāngata katoa te au ke kahai ki te wete ngā hara kai roto i a rata. Homai e i hoa tēnei kaha ki a matou ke kotahi e matou. Tai atu ki o matou whenua. Tai atu ngā mea katoa ke hui ke kotahi. You te ingoa o matua.
Well, welcome back folks. Hey, let's do the business thing first. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. I'm trying to build this channel up as much as I can. And I'm getting a few comments coming back, which is really good. Please keep them coming. There's some suggestions that have been made about furthering on some of the stories. So I'm going to present another waha on whakapunake. And in relation to some of the other spiritual aspects in physical form that went on around that mountain. But today, I'd like to talk about a fella. I should perhaps address him as royalty in a sense, because in his time he was. His name was Tamatea Ariki Nui. Now, our stories tell us that Tamatea Ariki Nui was the high chief, the big man on board the Takitimu canoe. So he already had what we call mana, standing, let's just say. And according to some of our island kazis in their stories, Tamatea Ariki Nui was regarded as a pretty, you could say that he was regarded as a king where he came from. And over there in Tahiti, he had a lot of sway. He had a lot of what's the word? Political power. And the story goes when the Takitimu canoe was built, and we might have to refer to our island kazis to perhaps embellish the story a little bit. But they say that the Takitimu canoe was the original idea came from a couple of chiefs known as Tūtakahina, Puhi whanake, and Puhi whakarongo. Each of these chiefs had their own tribes under them, and they were known as Ngāti Tūtakahina, etc., etc. But they had some difficulty in they had some difficulty, so they came to Tamatea Ariki Nui and asked them for help. And Tamatea Ariki Nui being he's the go-to man for everything, apparently. Tamatea Ariki Nui called on two of his most powerful, I guess, what we call tohunga. These fellas that are pretty much in touch with the things of nature, but other laws. And they were able to control a lot of the natural elements like wind, rain. He had command, I guess, over some of our sea creatures, whales, dolphins, stingrays, sharks. So these two people, Ruawharo and Tupai, they're actually brothers, were asked by Tamatea Ariki Nui to go help Tūtaka Hina and the other crew. And the report that came back was that the tree that they were looking at, remember I said the tree was called tapu whenua. The tree that they were looking at to build this canoe was huge and was more than suitable for the task. So Tamatea Ariki Nui, there's a bit of political nous, I guess, in every leader's decisions. Asked Ruawharo and Tupai and a number of others to help these people cut the tree down and build their waka, build their canoe. And Ruawharo, Tupai and a couple of others and their entourage of helpers set to work to do that. So, to try and cut the long story short, canoe was built, and this would have taken a year, perhaps 2 years even. The canoe was built and was being dragged down to the lakeside Piku i Whiti, where it was going to be tested and just final adjustments made, make sure she was seaworthy and didn't sink. Anyway, and Tūtaka Hina, Puhi, Whanake, and Puhi Whakaue started to get a little bit worried because Tamatea Ariki Nui's people had so much to do with the building of the canoe, they thought they might steal it. Yeah. Anyway, they got to the edge of the lake, the lagoon. The canoe was trialled, found to be very seaworthy, and it was positioned next to her sister canoe, if that's a term. And the naming of the canoes started. The sister canoe was Horauta. She was fast, apparently. She was really fast. And then the tohungas named the canoe made out of tapu whenua, should I say. And that's where they named it Takitimu. Now, I might have mentioned there is like 26 or so thwarts, which meant that there were only 26 places that they could allocate to people to sit. And our three friends again started to get a bit worried because there's not a lot of room on those things. Puhi Whakaue asked Tamatea Ariki Nui, or replied to Tamatea Ariki Nui, because Tamatea said, let us all go on this canoe. So he must have been pretty impressed with it. So, and he must have just decided, had enough of this idyllic island lifestyle. I want to see what this new land is about. And he decided he wanted to go to Aotearoa, New Zealand, as well. But they knew that there wasn't going to be enough room for everybody. So Puhi Whakaue, one of the chiefs, said, you fellas go, I will stay here and look after this land and wait for you to come back and get us. And I think that decision and that course of discussion perhaps saved a lot of killing. And yes, it was a political thing. So Puhi Whakaue stayed behind. But before they left, he said to all of them, Hare koutou, you fellas go. Waihu au, kia whakataha nei. Let me remain behind to look after our interests here. And Rua Wharo said to him, well, because you have, in effect, given up his seat for Tamatea Ariki Nui's people, Rua Wharo said, you go and live in Tamatea Ariki Nui's house and the village, and you live off the land, because wherever Tamatea Ariki Nui's village was, apparently was always close to food, plenty of water, plenty of land. So they offer that to Puhi Whakawe, look after that place, but they didn't say anything about coming back to get him. Well, not that we know of. Perhaps some of our Polynesian cousins might be able to put us on the right track. But, yeah, anyway. So that saying, ka whakataha au ki Tenei, was given to a people from the Takitimu canoe, and who later became known as Waitaha, and they're down the South Island there. And they took on the name Waitaha in commemoration of Puhi Whakawe's deed and his words, and saying, let me remain here. So, Tamatea Ariki Nui. He's a canoe, he's the big man, he's the big chief. So he took up, he was basically the second from the back. In the stern, at the back. In front of him were Rua Wharo and Tupai and the other priests. And he made his way to New Zealand on the Takitimu. And we look at Tamatea Ariki Nui, the man. Tamatea Ariki Nui was the son of Tamatea Roa, who was the son of Tamatea Nui, who was the son of Tato, who was the son of Tata, who was the son of Rere, who was the son of Puhi, and it goes back and back and back. So, in those times, Tamatea Ariki Nui must have lived around about the time of just to give you some sort of comparison, same time as Kamehameha over there in Hawaii. But they would have known each other, because in the karakias that Rua Wharo Tupai recited over Takitimu, and probably over Horauta as well, they refer to Ahu, and going there and being there. And Ahu is short for Oahu, which is one of the islands of Hawaii. So the man, Tamatea Ariki Nui, must have had a lot of clout. More so perhaps than a prime minister. You also have to remember that it wasn't so much a democratic society back there. It was pretty much autocratic. Tamatea Ariki means high priest, high chief. Equivalent would be a king. Okay? King Kamehameha, King George, kings, right? Nui, of course, means great, huge. Tamatea, like I might have explained in the story around Takitimu, Tea is fair. So Tamatea was one of those fair race of people who lived in the islands. And I'd love to see more research going on into how and why we had a fair race of people in the Polynesian islands. They all had leadership positions, and where do they come from, and why did they get it? Anyway, that's Tamatea Ariki Nui. Now, when the Takitimu got to New Zealand, as I mentioned, they went up north first, and then they came around. And Tamatea Ariki Nui decided to settle at Tauranga, which is in the Bay of Plenty. he married, actually he had a number of wives, but anyway, Rongokako married muri whenua, Tamatea Ure, haea, Pokai Moana Pokai whenua, married iwi pupu, they had KAHUNGU. And obviously I'm going to talk about KAHUNGU because that's the name of the iwi or the tribe, some of which my personal genealogy, traces from. So he made his home at Tauranga there, and we don't hear too much more about his life, actually. There are some conflicting stories about, well, not conflicting, but there's stories of how the Takitimu made its way down to the South Island and then made its way back up again, and then made a trip up the Whanganui River, etc., etc. But I'll let some researchers sort of come back with some of those stories because personally I think they've got the two Tamateas mixed up. Tamatea Ariki Nui didn't need to do anything else. He had, in effect, designed the Takitimu canoe and supervised its voyage to New Zealand. And that man could just rest on his laurels. He didn't have to do anything else. And being a king, why would you want to? He's got people around him that could do anything for. And these people around him were spread throughout the whole of Aotearoa. Now, if any of you ever get a chance to attend any wānanga sessions put on by Hirewini Jones, please go and do so. Hirewini usually starts out, well, somewhere in his presentations, he produces a whakapapa which in effect ties all the canoes, not just the main ones, but all the canoes that came out of Hawaii, Tahiti, all together. They were all the big tohungas and all the big chiefs. They were all related. They were intermarried. It was a political move. It was meant and designed to unite everybody. I don't know whether it worked, But there's no way that we can put anyone else, ourselves, above, whakapapa wise, above anybody else, no matter what iwi they come from. There's no way the kahunguni can put themselves ahead of Aotea canoe, for instance. There's no way that anyone else can say, I'm the best, my bloodline is royalty, heritage, blue blood, whatever you want to say. Because before those canoes even left Hawaii, there was intermarriage going on. We were all related. I don't know whether not everybody in Maori land would agree with that. But I thoroughly recommend you attend one of Hirewini Jones' wānanga sessions and just check out that whakapapa. And all that whakapapa is open to scrutiny. You can find out for yourself. But how he's put it together has been, I think, is brilliant. I sat there when I went with my nephew and I thought, wow, that's why all our elders, my father, my uncles and all people before them, that's why they talked at the waka level, not at hapu level. Because at the waka level, we're all together, we're all one, because we all come from the same place. Thanks, Dad. I think we need to remind ourselves that yes, we are special people, but we are here through the efforts of our forefathers and our ancestors, the ones that sailed and paddled 2 weeks to get here to Aotearoa, to get there to Aotearoa, to New Zealand, because I'm in Australia at the moment. But even that's open to controversy, because I think some of our canoes must have taken a wrong turn. I believe some of them ended up in Japan and China. Anyway, it's my own personal. We need to pay respect to those people and remember, because there's strength in unity. And you start scrapping amongst yourselves, and before you know it, whether it's a settlement, whether it's a deed, whether it's whatever, the more you fragment that idea or concept, the less power it has. Anyway, enough for politics. Tamatea Ariki Nui, I believe he must have had high intelligence to be able to make the decisions that he did, and to keep the ideas of whakapōna tūmana, aroha in particular, faith, hope and love, to keep those sort of concepts, or to try and keep them alive. The reason why he brought all our sacred gods from the old country, kahukura, and those gods, is to establish in Aotearoa the concepts and the precepts that our ancestors lived by. Anyway, I hope you enjoy hearing about Tamatea Ariki Nui. I am sure we're going to find out a little bit more about him through other means and through other sources. I encourage you all do some research of your own, and because the more you research these people and you sort of look at the type of person they were, the personality, you can sort of tie a few ends together and go, wow, I wonder if I fit into that. I wonder if I am. So, good luck. Now, there are Te Ariki is now, it's a word used. Yeah. These days back in New Zealand, everybody's a rangatira now. Because in the old days it was a class, should I say. It was a class. Maori society was a class society. Yeah. You had your slaves, you had your workers, blah, blah, blah. You had your rangatira class, which was the chiefs. And to get into that class, you had to prove it by deed. And those deeds and that class died with you. It wasn't passed on. That's just one of the things about our culture that sort of ensure that people don't rest on their laurels too much. You've got to sort of still get out there and work the land, work your mind, work your brain, and produce, as it were. Yeah, and then above that, of course, is the Ariki class, of which you were born into, and of which the mana of that class can be passed down to your kids. Now, there are a couple of other arikis that have been prominent in my life, because since the advent of Christianity, we were brought up calling Jesus Christ Te Ariki Nui. So I want to sing a song. Oh, and the other ariki I want to talk about is Hawaiian. And I think if Tamatea Ariki Nui lived around about the same time as Kamehameha over in Hawaii, we could be related. But anyway, the other king I want to talk about is King David, Kalakaua. They lived through some tough times, those people. Tough in the sense that for Hawaii, Americans wanted them, wanted their lands. And Kalakaua and Queen Liliuokalani, they had to make some really, really hard choices. They were forced into a lot of things. And our cousins over there in Hawaii lost the control of their lands. So, I like King Kalakaua. I like what he stood for. So this one is about Ihu Great, Jesus Christ. E Te Ariki whakarongo mai ra kia matou. E Te Ariki titiro mai ra kia matou. Anera o tamariki e karanga inoi atu ki a koe. Aue, aue. Te matua te tamaiti, Wairua tapu e. Te matua te tamaiti, Wairua tapu e. I think the words of the song go, oh my Lord, listen to the voice of your children. Something like that. Oh my God, hearken to the cries of your people. Don't forget the rest. Anera o tamariki e karanga inoi atu ki a koe. Aue. All times since I sang the song. Aue. Te matua te tamaiti, Wairua tapu e. Te matua te tamaiti, Wairua tapu e. Like I said, King David Clarkoa, of course, always known more for just being beautiful beaches, pineapples, the hula. There's a rich culture over there. And in fact, I'm pretty sure a lot of their stuff is exactly the same as ours, Maori anyway. Ia no Kawika e kahekea na pua ea ia no Kawika ea kahekea na pua ia no Kawika ea kahekea na pua. Kawia mai ka hiki nai malama Hawaii ea Kawila ma kahikina ea malama ai Hawaii e kalono pelekani alapa e kuni o palani na vai kapua iuna he apaha ke hahe matua na wai kapua i luna Kapa'akea he matua haina ia mai kapua nei kalani kawika he noa la haina mai kapuana kalani kawika he noa Ina mai ka puana ea Marani Kawika he inoa King David Kalako, his name was Kawika, that's his Hawaiian name. Might start using that name for me, who knows. Anyway, thanks folks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good rest of the week. And we'll catch you again with our next in our Whakapapa Series. Don't forget, please like, comment, and subscribe. The links are down below, somewhere. Noho ora mai. Stay well. Kia ora mai. Be well. And stay you.